Hey there. Welcome back. Let me ask you something. If the woman you love was cheating, would you even know? You might think so. Most men do. But here's the shocking truth. The vast majority of men fail to recognize the subtle warning signs of female infidelity. It's easy to assume that cheating is obvious. Suspicious phone calls, sudden late nights, or secretive behavior. But what if I told you that women are far more discreet, far more strategic than you might realize? While men often leave behind obvious trails of deception, women have mastered the art of emotional and physical concealment, making their infidelity nearly undetectable until it's too late. In fact, studies suggest that more than 80% of men overlook the early signs of cheating. Why? Because they don't realize that the clues aren't always in the actions, it's in the words. Think back for a moment. Has she ever told you, "I need more space for myself"? Or maybe she's casually said, "You deserve someone better than me." Have you brushed off these words, thinking they were just passing comments? If so, you may have missed something crucial. But don't worry, today that changes. I'm going to reveal the key phrases women use when they're emotionally disconnecting or being unfaithful. By the end of this, you'll be able to recognize the hidden messages in her words, understand the deeper meaning behind them, and most importantly, protect yourself from living in a lie. So pay close attention, because what I'm about to reveal might just change everything. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button to support us. If not, leave a 0 in the comments below to let us know, so we can improve in future videos. 1. Stop being so controlling. At first, this might sound like a reasonable request. After all, no one likes to feel trapped in a relationship, right? Everyone deserves personal space, and a healthy relationship thrives on trust and independence. But here's where things get tricky. When this phrase starts appearing too often, it might not be about personal freedom at all. Imagine this. You casually ask her about her plans for the evening. Maybe something simple like, "Hey, where are you headed tonight?" Instead of a straightforward answer, she sighs and snaps back, "Why do you always have to be so controlling?" That's when you feel it, that sudden shift in energy, that tension in the air. You weren't accusing her of anything. You weren't being possessive. You were just asking a normal question. So why the defensive reaction? Here's the truth. A woman with nothing to hide won't feel controlled just because her partner shows interest in her schedule. But a woman who's starting to emotionally or physically detach, she might use this phrase as a way to push you away, to discourage you from asking too many questions, and, most importantly, to create distance. And once that distance is established, it becomes easier for her to move freely, without guilt, without accountability, and without having to explain herself. So, the next time she says, "Stop being so controlling," take a step back. Is she genuinely asking for space, or is she subtly setting the stage for something else? The answer might be more important than you think. If you're enjoying these insights and still with me in this journey, let me know by commenting with a number 1 below. Thank you for sharing this time with me. 2. I need some privacy. Personal space is a fundamental part of any healthy relationship. Everyone deserves moments of solitude, time to reflect, and independence. But what happens when the request for privacy suddenly turns into secrecy? At first, it might seem like nothing. She starts tilting her phone screen away when texting, locking it when she never used to. Her social media habits change. Maybe she used to leave her notifications open, but now everything is hidden behind passwords you don't know. Her laptop, once casually left on the couch, now it's always closed when she leaves the room. And then there are the small but telling moments. You reach for her phone to check the time, something you've done 100 times before, and she snatches it away with a nervous laugh. "Can I have some privacy, please?" she says. It sounds innocent, almost reasonable. But deep down, something doesn't sit right. Here's the hard truth. Privacy is normal. Secrecy is not. A woman who has nothing to hide won't suddenly feel the need to guard her phone like a classified document. She won't tense up every time a notification pops up. She won't act as if an innocent glance at her screen is an invasion of her personal life. So when she starts demanding more privacy than usual, it's time to ask yourself, what exactly is she trying to keep private? The answer might not be what you want to hear, but ignoring it could be even worse. If you're still watching and finding resonance in these insights, I'd love to hear from you. Comment with number 2 below to let me know you're here. Thank you for being part of this journey and for sharing your valuable time. 3. Just trust me. Trust is the foundation of any strong relationship. It's what holds two people together, even when life gets tough, when challenges arise, and when doubt starts creeping in. But trust isn't just a word. It's a feeling built over time through consistency, honesty, and transparency. So, what happens when the phrase "just trust me" starts showing up a little too often, especially in moments when trust is actually being questioned? Picture this. Something feels off. Maybe it's a subtle shift in her behavior. She's more distant, more guarded. Maybe she used to be open about her daily routine, but now she's vague about where she's been and who she's spending time with. She seems distracted, lost in thought. And when you try to reconnect, there's a certain hesitation that wasn't there before. So, naturally, you ask, not in an aggressive or accusatory way, just a simple, "Hey, is everything okay? You've been acting differently lately." A normal, reasonable question, but instead of responding with openness and reassurance, she brushes it off. "Why do you always question me? Just trust me." And there it is. That subtle yet powerful attempt to shut down the conversation before it even begins. She's not explaining, she's not comforting, she's not addressing your concerns. She's dismissing them. Here's the problem. A woman who has nothing to hide won't need to remind you to trust her. Trust isn't something that needs to be demanded. It's something that is earned through actions. If she's truly being honest, she won't feel attacked by your question. She won't need to turn the conversation into an issue about your trust issues or insecurities. Instead, she'll want to reassure you, to clear up any misunderstandings, and to make sure you feel secure in your relationship. But when "just trust me" starts becoming a shield, a defense mechanism she throws out whenever you get too close to the truth, it's time to pause and ask yourself, why does she feel the need to say this so often? Why does she react defensively instead of having an open conversation? Is she really asking for trust, or is she asking you to ignore something? Because here's the reality. Real trust doesn't need to be demanded. It's built. It's proven. A woman who values your relationship and respects you won't use trust as a way to silence you. She'll show you, through her actions, that there's nothing to question. But if she keeps repeating, "just trust me," every time you get close to something uncomfortable, it might be time to look beyond the words and start paying attention to what she's not saying. 4. You're always accusing me. There's a fine line between defending yourself and deflecting blame. And when a woman starts throwing out phrases like, "you're always accusing me," or "why don't you ever trust me?" especially when you haven't actually accused her of anything, something isn't right. It's a response designed to shift the focus away from her actions and onto you, making you feel like the bad guy for simply noticing that something feels off. Imagine this. You ask her a simple, reasonable question. Maybe you've noticed a shift in her behavior. She's more distant, more distracted, or suddenly has an increasing number of late-night work meetings that she never used to mention before. So, naturally, you bring it up, not accusing, just asking, "Hey, is everything okay? You've been acting differently lately." Instead of a calm explanation or reassurance, she flips the script completely. "I can't believe you don't trust me. Why do you always think the worst of me?" she snaps, her voice full of frustration and hurt. And just like that, you become the villain. Suddenly, The focus isn't on her unusual behavior anymore. It's on you, your supposed paranoia, your insecurities. The original question never gets answered, because now you're on the defensive, scrambling to prove that you're not an overly suspicious, controlling partner. You go from trying to have a normal conversation to apologizing for something that, deep down, you know wasn't wrong to ask in the first place. Here's the truth. A woman who has nothing to hide won't need to overreact every time you ask a simple question. She won't get defensive, lash out, or turn the conversation into an argument just because you're concerned. Instead, she'll listen, offer reassurance, and make an effort to ease your doubts. A partner who is truly committed to you won't make you feel guilty for wanting honesty and transparency. But when someone is hiding something, they need to keep you from looking too closely. And the best way to do that? Make you question yourself. This kind of emotional manipulation, turning your reasonable concerns into an attack against you, is a classic way to deflect blame. It creates confusion, self-doubt, and guilt, making you hesitate the next time something feels off. And the worst part? It works. You start second-guessing yourself, convincing yourself that maybe you are overthinking things. Meanwhile, the real issue, the one you were trying to address in the first place, remains buried, unnoticed, unresolved. So, the next time she lashes out with, "You're always accusing me," stop and think. Are you really accusing her, or are you just asking for the truth? Because someone who genuinely loves and respects you won't be afraid to give it. If you're still here and finding these reflections meaningful, please comment number 3 below to let me know you're on this journey with me. Your time and engagement mean the world. Thank you. 5. Go focus on your work. I can take care of myself. At first, this phrase seems harmless, maybe even considerate. After all, in any healthy relationship, independence is important. A strong, confident woman should be able to handle things on her own, and a supportive partner should encourage personal growth, right? But here's what you need to ask yourself. Why is she suddenly so eager for you to be busy? Think about how your relationship used to be. You were involved in each other's lives, checking in throughout the day, making plans together, sharing both the big and small moments. Then, out of nowhere, things start to shift. The once consistent check-ins become less frequent. The usual excitement about spending time together fades. And now, instead of wanting to be around you, she starts subtly pushing you away under the guise of support. You're working so hard. Just focus on that. Don't worry about me. You don't have to check in. I'll be fine. You should go out more. Spend time with your friends. At first, it seems like she's just being thoughtful. Maybe she wants you to have more time for yourself. Maybe she's trying to be independent. But when you start looking closer, a pattern begins to emerge. She wants you distracted. She wants you occupied. The more engaged you are in your own life, the less attention you're paying to hers. And that's exactly what she needs. Space to do something she doesn't want you to see. This is a classic deflection tactic, one that many men fail to notice until it's too late. She doesn't have to lie or make up elaborate excuses. She simply nudges you toward focusing elsewhere, subtly pulling away without setting off alarms. And as you become more wrapped up in your own schedule, you don't notice the small but crucial shifts in her behavior. The late-night texts she suddenly shields from view, the increased time spent out with friends, the distant, distracted look in her eyes when you're together. A woman who truly values her relationship won't suddenly push you away without reason. Yes, she'll encourage you to chase your goals, to succeed, to grow. But she won't do it in a way that makes you feel like a stranger in your own relationship. She won't encourage you to be so busy that you stop noticing her emotional withdrawal. And she certainly won't make you feel like your presence is no longer needed. So the real question is she giving you space because she loves you, or is she making room for someone else? The answer might not be easy to accept, but ignoring it could cost you more than you realize. 6. I just don't feel the same anymore. These words hit differently. They don't come out of nowhere. They're not something she blurts out in a moment of frustration or during a heated argument. No, this phrase is calculated, deliberate, and heavy with meaning. And if you hear it, it means something in your relationship has already changed. At first, it might seem like an honest confession. After all, feelings evolve over time. People grow, circumstances shift, and relationships go through ups and downs. But here's what you need to understand. When a woman starts emotionally detaching from you, it's rarely sudden. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's rarely without reason. It's a slow, gradual process, one that often begins long before she finds the courage to say these words out loud. By the time she admits it, she's likely already made peace with the idea of leaving. Think back. Were there moments when she seemed distant, but you brushed it off as stress or just a bad day? Did she stop making an effort, no longer showing the same enthusiasm for the little things that once mattered? Did she start spending more time away from you? Physically, emotionally, or both? Maybe she started making excuses to be alone more often. Maybe your conversations, once effortless, now feel forced, like she's only half listening. When a woman says, "I just don't feel the same anymore," what she's really saying is, "I've already disconnected, and I don't know how to tell you. I've been feeling this way for a while, but I waited until I was sure there might be someone else and I don't want to admit it." Because here's the hard truth. When a woman emotionally checks out, there's almost always a reason. And more often than not, that reason isn't just about the relationship losing its spark. It's about someone else filling the emotional void before she even lets you in on what's happening. By the time these words leave her lips, she may have already planned her exit. And the worst part? If she's been seeing someone else, whether emotionally or physically, this phrase is often her way of easing her own guilt. It's her way of justifying what she's about to do, or maybe what she's already done. Instead of admitting to betrayal, she reframes the narrative. It's not about someone else, it's just that I've changed. But has she really changed? Or has she just shifted her emotional investment to another person? So if you hear these words, don't just take them at face value. Look at the signs. Trust your instincts. Because sometimes, "I don't feel the same anymore" isn't just about love fading. It's about a love that's already been given to someone else. Conclusion: trust your instincts. Understanding the signs of infidelity isn't just about hearing words. It's about recognizing the subtle shifts in behavior, the small but telling changes that often go unnoticed. When a woman starts emotionally detaching, the clues are always there. The sudden need for privacy, the over-defensive reactions, the unexpected distance, and the phrases that, at first glance, seem harmless but carry a much deeper meaning. Maybe she tells you, "You're being too controlling," when you ask a simple question. Perhaps she insists, "Just trust me," when her actions don't match her words. Or one day, out of nowhere, she says, "I just don't feel the same anymore." Each of these phrases, when spoken in isolation, might not seem alarming. But together, they paint a picture you can't afford to ignore. The truth is, your instincts are more powerful than you think. If something feels off, if her words don't align with her actions, if there's a quiet but persistent doubt in your mind, listen to it. Because often, what we call paranoia is actually our subconscious picking up on warning signs before our heart is ready to accept them. So now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed these signs in a relationship? Have you ever looked back and realized the truth was in front of you all along? If so, drop a comment below, because the more we talk about these hidden truths, the more we empower ourselves to see them before it's too late. Let's navigate this journey together. 5. Do you really think I'm that innocent? The challenge you can't ignore. When a woman looks at you with a smirk and says, "Do you really think I'm that innocent?" she's not just making conversation. She's testing you. She's flirting, pushing boundaries, and daring you to see her in a different light. Most guys miss this completely. They laugh it off, nod, or say something basic like, "I don't know, you seem pretty sweet." Wrong move. She's not asking for reassurance. She's seeing if you're sharp enough to play the game. What she really means is, "I want you to see this side of me that not everyone gets to see." She's telling you, "I'm not as predictable as you think." Women want to feel desired, but not judged. They want to feel like they can be playful, adventurous, even a little dangerous, with a man who gets it. So if she's giving you the challenge, step up. The right response? Lean in slightly, smirk, and say something like, "Oh, I never assumed you were innocent, but now you've got me curious." That keeps the flirtation alive, makes her feel understood, and creates the perfect moment for her to open up even more. Want to test this? The next time she drops this line, don't just brush it off, play along. Let her show you her adventurous side. Because once she invites you into that world, that's when attraction really takes off. 6. I feel like I can be myself around you. The ultimate connection signal. When a woman says, "I feel like I can be myself around you," she's not just making a random statement. She's revealing something deep. This is one of the most powerful signs of attraction, and if you hear it, you've already made an impact. Women don't open up to just anyone. Most of the time, they keep their guard up, especially around men they're unsure about. But when she feels comfortable enough to let that guard down, it means she sees you as someone she trusts, respects, and is drawn to on a deeper level. She's not just physically attracted, she's emotionally invested. This doesn't mean you've been friend-zoned. It's actually the opposite. She's signaling that she feels safe around you, which allows her to be more playful, more expressive, and more open to deeper attraction. And here's the key. Once a woman starts associating you with comfort and connection, she doesn't want to lose that feeling. Most guys mess this up by getting too comfortable themselves. They stop leading, stop creating excitement, and assume the work is done. Wrong move. She feels safe, yes, but she still craves that edge, that challenge, that excitement. So the best response? A playful smirk and something like, "Careful. If you get too comfortable, you might never want to leave." Keep the energy light, flirtatious, and engaging. Want to test this? Next time a woman tells you she can be herself around you, recognize it for what it is, a sign of deepening attraction. Keep leading, keep the chemistry alive, and watch how much more invested she becomes. Because once she's emotionally hooked, that's when real attraction begins. 7. So, what now? The ultimate green light. When a woman looks at you and says, "So, what now?" she's not asking for small talk. She's giving you permission to take the lead. This is one of the clearest signs that she's waiting for you to make the next move. Whether that means escalating physically, deepening the emotional connection, or shifting the dynamic to something more intimate. Here's what you need to understand. Women don't want to take the lead in attraction. They want a man who is decisive, confident, and in control of the moment. If she's saying this, she's already made up her mind about you, but she's not going to take responsibility for what happens next. That's your job. This is where most guys freeze up. They get nervous, overthink the moment, and start rambling instead of owning the situation. If you say something like, "I don't know, what do you want to do?" you just killed the momentum. Wrong move. The right response? Keep it smooth, keep it playful, and set the tone. Try something like, "That depends. Do you always ask so many questions? Or are you just stalling?" Say it with a smirk, maintain eye contact, and let the tension build. The goal is to keep her engaged, intrigued, and drawn into the moment. Want to test this? The next time a woman says, "So, what now?" don't hesitate. Take the lead, set the direction, and watch how quickly she follows. Because in that moment, she's already chosen you. Now it's up to you to make the next move. If you're still here and finding these reflections meaningful, please comment, Number 3, below to let me know you're on this journey with me. Your time and engagement mean the world. Thank you. 8. You're really strong, more than just physical strength. When a woman tells you you're really strong, she's not just talking about your muscles. She's noticing your presence, confidence, and masculinity. Strength, in a woman's eyes, is much more than just physical power. It's about how you carry yourself, how you handle situations, and whether you make her feel safe and protected. Most guys take this as just a casual compliment and brush it off with a simple thanks. Wrong move. If she's pointing out your strength, she's already feeling something deeper. She's recognizing the way you take up space, the way you move, the way you project confidence without saying a word. Women are drawn to men who exude natural dominance, who hold their ground, who don't get shaken easily. And here's the kicker. Women test for strength all the time. Not just in how you physically look, but in how you handle challenges, respond to stress, and react to her teasing or tests. If she playfully pushes you, playfully resists your lead, or even tries to throw you off, she's checking to see if you stand firm or if you crumble under pressure. So how do you respond? Lean into it. Smirk. Hold eye contact and say something like, "You have no idea." Keep it playful, keep it confident, and let her curiosity grow. The more you own your strength, physically, mentally, and emotionally, the more she'll be drawn to you. Want to test this? The next time a woman tells you, "You're really strong," don't just say thanks and move on. Hold the moment, give her that confident look, and let the tension build. Because when she points out your strength, she's already thinking about what it would feel like to be in your arms. 9. I'm pretty sure you can get any girl you want. The confidence test. When a woman looks at you and says, "I'm pretty sure you can get any girl you want," she's not just stating a fact. She's testing you. This is a psychological move, a way to measure your confidence, self-perception, and how you handle attention from women. Most guys fumble this moment. They either deny it completely, "No, not really, I don't think so," which makes them seem insecure, or they get cocky and try to brag, "Yeah, I have options." Both of these are the wrong moves. What she's really doing is gauging how you see yourself. Women are drawn to men who don't need external validation, who already know their worth. If you react too humbly or too arrogantly, you fail the test. The key is to stay playful, confident, and unaffected. The best response? A smirk, a pause, and something like, "I don't know. Do you always assume things about guys you like?" This flips the frame, makes her laugh, and subtly acknowledges her attraction to you without directly answering the question. Remember, women admire men who are socially aware, comfortable with attention, and carry themselves like they have options, even if they never talk about it. If you pass this test, she'll see you as even more desirable. Want to test this? The next time a woman tells you, "I'm pretty sure you can get any girl you want," don't downplay it. Hold your frame, stay composed, and flip the energy back onto her. Because if she's saying this, she's already seeing you as a high-value man. Now it's just a matter of whether you prove it. 10. You're different. The ultimate sign she sees you as more than just another guy. When a woman looks at you and says, "You're different," she's not just making small talk. She's setting you apart from every other man she's met. This isn't a casual compliment. It's a signal that she's seriously considering you as someone special. Women meet men all the time. Guys who try too hard, guys who follow the same script, guys who blend into the background. But when she tells you you're different, she's saying that you stand out, that you're unlike the rest, and most importantly, that she's intrigued. Here's where most men screw this up. They either dismiss the compliment, "Nah, I'm just a regular guy," which lowers their value, or they get overly excited, "Really? What do you like about me?" which puts her in the position of validating them. Wrong move. The key here is to own it without needing it. The best response? A smirk, a pause, and something like, you're only just noticing? It keeps things playful, keeps you in control, and makes her even more curious about you.